Hello guys, welcome to Crown Smart. In this video we'll be talking about inverse function. Now if you recall, in our last video we discussed something on a bijective function, and we say for a function to be a bijective function it must be a one-to-one and an onto function. So it must be one-to-one or an onto function. So in this video we'll be talking about an inverse function. Now a function is said to have an inverse if and only if the function is what? A bijective function. So whenever a function given, let's say f of x, we are asked to find the inverse of this function, we must first check whether the function is what? A bijective function, before we can now find what? The inverse. So here is a nice example for us to find what? Inverse of the following function. Now before I solve this, let me brief you on, let me explain further what an inverse function is. Now supposing we have, this is x as the domain, let's say we have 1, 2 and 3. Now we have another one again, let's say y, this is y. Okay, now y has a, b and c, and we have the function f mapping what? Mapping x to what? Y. Okay, now if 1 goes to a, 2 go to b and 3 to c. Okay, now this is a one-to-one function because we have each element in the domain is assigned to a unique, just one element in the what? In the codomain. Now this is an onto because every element in the codomain is being assigned. So everything here is being assigned. So it's a one-to-one and an onto. So therefore this function is what? A bijective function. Now the inverse of this function is nothing but f inverse. Okay, this maps y to what? X. Okay, so the inverse is simply, let's draw this time around, this is y. Okay, this will be now x. X is 1, 2, 3, y is a, b, c. So the inverse is simply our assign a to 1, b to 2 and c to 3. So this is how the inverse function looks like. Now we want to solve the examples given. Okay, now for the first part we want to find the inverse of f of x, okay, equal to 4x plus 7. Remember, f is mapping r to r, so f is mapping the real to the real. Now for us to solve this, recall in our last video we said that a function like this is a linear function. A function like this is a one-to-one function. Okay, a function like this is a one-to. We proved it in our last video, and in our last video we showed that this function, the range of this function is always the real number. The range of this function is always the what? The real number. And because the range of the function is always the real number, its range is equal to what? The codomain. This is the codomain, this is the domain. So this is the codomain, which is all real number, and the range of this function is all real number. Since the range is equal to the codomain, therefore this function is what? A bijective function. So in general, a linear function is always what? A bijective function. So now, since this function is a bijective function, therefore it what? Has an inverse. So we now show the inverse of what? This function. Now for us to show the inverse of this function, now let y equal to f of x. Okay, now if y is equal to f of x, this implies that my f inverse of y is equal to what? X. All I just simply did was I took the f to the other side, and taking f to the other side you have what? F inverse. So f inverse of that y will be equal to what? X. Now since y is equal to f of x, this is equal to y is equal to 4x plus 7. Okay, 4x plus 7. Now what I will do here is I will solve for x. Solving for x, I have that this is y minus 7 is equal to 4x. Now dividing both sides by 4, I have this is y minus 7 over 4 is equal to what? X. But what is my x? My x is what? F inverse of y. So I write f inverse of y is equal to what? y minus 7 over what? Over 4. Now remember, what we are looking for is what? F inverse. Okay, the question given was f of x, so what we are looking for is f inverse of what? X. So what we are going to do now, we are going to interchange. Anyway we see y, we put what? X. So our inverse here is f inverse of what? X is equal to x minus 7 over 4. Okay, so this is how we solve what? The inverse of the first question. Now for the second question, observe the second question says find the inverse of the following. Our f of x is given to be the square root of 2 plus 5x. Now they did not identify, they did not give us a map, they did not give us something like this, so it is being assumed that these functions are what? Are bijective. So what we are going to do now, we are going to solve it directly. Okay, we are going to find the inverse, okay, because it's already assumed that this function is what? A bijective function. So to solve the inverse, now we say let y equal to f of x. So this is y equal to f of x is equal to the square root of 2 plus 5x. Now, so this is y is equal to the square root of 2 plus 5x. Remember, I want to make s the subject of the formula, so the first thing I'll do is to square both sides. So I have y squared is equal to 2 plus 5x. Remember, if I square both sides, the square will cancel the what? The root. Okay, now the next thing I will do is to collect like terms. So I have this as y squared minus 2 is equal to what? 5x. Okay, if 2 goes to the other side of the equation, it changes sign. This sign changes from plus to what? Minus. Okay, now this time around I will divide both sides by 5. I'll have y squared minus 2 over 5 is equal to what? X. Now recall I said that if my y is equal to f of x, then my f inverse of y is equal to what? X. Simply move the f to the other side, it becomes what? F inverse. Now replace x with what? This. So I'll have this as what? F inverse of y is equal to y squared minus 2 over what? 5. Now since I have this as f inverse of y, remember the question given is what? F of x. So what I'm looking for now is f inverse of what? X. That is what I'm looking for. So the last thing I'll do here is just anywhere I see y, I put what? X. So I have this as f inverse of x is equal to x squared minus 2 over what? 5. So that is it for the second question. Now for the third question, the third question is f of x equal to 3x plus 2, f of x equal to 3x plus 2. Okay, f of x equal to 3x plus 2. So as usual, this is y is equal to 3x plus 2. Okay, solving for x, I have this as y minus 2 is equal to what? 3x. And again, divide both sides by 3. I have this as y minus 2 over 3 is equal to what? X. Now x here will be equal to what? F inverse of what? Y. So therefore I have my f inverse of y is equal to what? Y minus 2 over what? 3. Now the last thing I'll do is to interchange the value, okay, of x and y. So anywhere I see y, I put what? X. So this is what? F inverse of x is equal to x minus 2 over what? 3. So this is the answer. This is the inverse of the what? Of the function. Thank you very much. Please, I'll be grateful if you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Okay, thank you very much. Watch this video over and over again. If you really don't understand, drop your question on the comment section. Okay, thank you very much.